Welcome back, humans, ghouls, mutated fools. My name is Mara. You're on the channel Beware of Mutated Zombies, and I'm a mutated zombie, but you don't have to beware of me. I have fed myself. I have enough food to get me through a couple of weeks, okay? And I have allies who are humans, and so and they're good kind of humans, okay? They're not like ravers or ravagers, bad humans. I promise. I swear. It's the truth. Why else would I be playing video games? To get to know y'all. If I weren't friendly. Just saying. But we are continuing on today with Cinderella Phenomenon. We're gonna get through Rod's story, and hopefully that will unlock Fritz and what's the other person's name? Uh, 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 Waltz. No. Yes? Yes! Waltz. Fritz and Waltz. After Rod, hopefully. We did Rumple last time. First time we played with Karma. Karma is my bae so far. When I logged in, I got a trophy. It said light and dark. I don't know what that trophy is for. Let me go look. Light and darkness unlocked the locked routes. Really? I did? Oh, I don't need to play Rod. I don't need to play Rod. Should I play Rod? I promised I would play Rod. Oh man, but it just said that I unlocked the locked routes. Why it tells me that after I've already started a new game as opposed to when I finished the game when I played Rumples? I don't know. But it's there now. Oh man. I did promise someone that I would play Rod's Root, so I guess I'll play it next. Sad face. Okay, let's go start Rod's Root. I don't need the tutorial. And we actually don't need to go through the opening again, because we've we know what's going on. Prologue, Ice Princess. We all know what's going on here. You've unlocked Fritz and Walt's roots. Oh, yay! Yay! I'm wondering now if I wait. Maybe I should play through this entire thing in case that changed anything. Skip. All right, I'm gonna go right. I have no questions. We've gone over this. I'm good. Forward to the next choice. All right. So I believe I'm supposed to be silent with Rod. I'm pretty sure. I remember somebody saying you should have said nothing, and I think that's what I was supposed to do. So I'm gonna say nothing. I'm gonna be silent. You hate me. That is not being silent. You have no right to start acting the victim now. Not when you've treated my family with such disrespect. And that was the right choice. So he likes his girl silent. Okay. I needed to play it as I would knowing what these characters want, as opposed to how I normally would, because how I would gets us the bad ending, because there are no guys made for a me. So, the only reason I didn't say anything before is because Emmeline didn't want me to. I'm happier too, now that you're gone. I don't have to pretend to like you anymore. I'm going to return to the palace now. Remember, he can't speak. It was his bunny rabbit that was speaking this entire time. Alright. Oh! I can't break the curse on my own. Oh, so if you say I can't break the curse on my own, that must bring you to, oh, I can break the curse on my own. Sorry, I can break the curse on my own. That must bring you to Fritz. But Waltz is there now. However, I made a promise. I said I would play Rod. I'm gonna play Rod's route. Ugh. Rod came to the marsh end today to discuss something with Parfait. This is just the third time he has visited the tavern since I've been here. I wonder what he discusses with Parfait. Rod's eyebrows furrow as soon as he sees me enter the room. Oh, it seems like the princess has something she would like to speak with you about, Rod. Prince Rod. She probably already knows why I'm here. Oh, he probably already knows why I'm here? Thank you, Prince Rod, for telling me about this. I shall leave you with the princess now. Rod's expression turns grim. He clearly disapproves of me even just being in the same room as him. As soon as Parfait leaves, he shoots a glare in my direction. What do you want? All I have done is enter the room, and he is already angry. I am still not used to being treated like this by him. I'm here to ask you about goodness. You're asking the wrong person, Lilac. Did I make the right choice in choosing to come to him? I do not intend to help you break your curse, no matter what Lady Parfait says. Pardon? Emmeline and my mother have tried to be kind to you many times, but you only ever respond with disrespect and cruelty. Cruelty? You think I've been cruel to them? Yes. How else would you describe your behavior? Why am I suddenly the one at fault? Their coming to the palace made my life miserable. I am the victim here, not them. The others may think you're capable of goodness, but I severely doubt it. I do not wish to work with you, so do not come to me for help. Excuse me. He turns around and begins to walk away, leaving me to stand alone in the room, even angrier than I was before. How dare he treat me like this? I grab his arm and pull him around so that he is facing me. I refuse to let him belittle me like this, especially when I am making a conscious effort to change. What if I can help you break your curse? Will you help me then? Rod fixes me with an icy stare as he pulls away. I don't intend to break my curse. What? Rod shoots me one last glare before he leaves the Marchen, leaving me to stand there, confused. If he does not intend to break his curse, then why is he even here? Ooh. I stare in horror at the floor. Gravel and sand are embedded between the floorboards. The wood beneath my feet is covered in a thick muck. Mr. Broom! Hey. Alright, let's go ask Rod again. I glance over at Rod as he enters the tavern. That was almost perfect timing. He told me that he does not intend to break his curse, yet here he is again. Rod must sense my eyes on him because the minute he walks in, he turns to look at me. His expression is as cold and unmoving as always. He pointedly leaves the tavern area and enters the reception. I follow after him. I told you to find someone else. What can I do to make you stop hating me? What? You said that whatever I had done to you or your family was bad, so if I reverse that, I might get a good deed. You truly don't understand how goodness works, do you? I would not be asking you if I did. Rod closes his eyes and rubs the back of his neck. He looks thoughtful, but also irritated. I intend to break my curse as soon as possible, and I will do whatever it takes. And it seems to me that the easiest way to achieve a good deed is to fix the supposedly bad things I've already done. So are you going to help me or not? Tell Lady Parfait I will see her another time. He leaves the room without answering my question. I ball my hands into fists. And he calls me the cruel one? You are the cruel one. A month has passed, and I have yet to complete even one good deed, not for any lack of trying, though. I've been asking around for advice on how to be a good person and received various answers. What makes someone good? I'd say being selfless. That is correct. I think it's important that you consider another person's feelings. That is correct. Patience. That is probably correct. The ability to soothe even the most broken of hearts. Kind of? Forget I asked. Bravery. Yeah. Loyalty. Yeah. You must be beautiful both on the inside and out. No. No, you must not. Right. Must I be all of those things in order to be good? According to Parfait, I cannot just pretend. It has to come from my heart. I place my hand on my chest and consider that the steady pulse of my heartbeat. That will not be easy. I close my eyes, thinking of all the possible ways I might be able to break my curse, but in the end, my mind is blank. Mother, what am I supposed to do? A dream? Your personal feelings are nothing but a weakness for others to exploit. That is why you do not show them. You only show them that you are strong. Yes, Mother. You must not let false kindness deceive you. People will use niceties to trick you into exploiting your weak emotions. But you can trust me, Lilac. I will never hurt you. I will never lie to you. I am all you need. What a liar! I love you, Lilac. Was that a lie too? I love you too, Mother. Was she lying about her love? Let's just get to me getting to choose. Alright. I wanna not choose him, but I gotta. A change of pace. Now to the new stuff. Alright. I will ask Rod if he will pair up with me. He's already said multiple times that he won't, so I don't know why a month would change that. I know we do not have a good relationship. Rod has spared no effort in telling me how cruel I have been to his family. But I feel that rectifying whatever mistakes I made with them might be an easy way to get 3 good deeds. Oh, this is going to be very interesting. But Lilac, didn't he tell you that he didn't want to break his curse? Yes, but that may not be the whole truth. He is still reluctant to break his curse despite all the advice I have offered him. Perhaps you will be able to encourage him where I could not. I do not care if he does not want to break his curse. I only need him to help me remedy the supposedly bad things I have done to his family. I believe that will be the easiest way to break my curse. Wow. But the problem is that I rarely see him here. He is usually at the palace. In order for this arrangement to work, I will need to be in the palace. I, for one, think that it's a terrible idea. What if... Dolores' voice trails off. She averts her gaze to the floor, her expression a mixture of anxiety and solemn consideration. What if what? Is there something I should know? Both the witch and the fairy just stare at me silently. After a few moments, Parfait speaks. You would be far away from us, Princess. We would not be able to assist you. Witches could be lying in wait for you, knowing that you're the true crown princess of Angiel. They might seek to use you for their own purposes. What sorts of purposes? Why would the witches be after me in the first place? Many of them have been corrupted by the Tenebrarum. Darkness has invaded their hearts, making them bitter. Many of them simply want to see the fairy tale curses continue on undisturbed. This is all just speculation, but it's better to be safe rather than sorry. What would you have me do? Delora? I have an idea. I think I can get her into the palace and make sure there's someone there to look out for her. How? Just trust me. Tomorrow the Ice Princess returns to her palace. I have a bad feeling about this. Are you going to be a scullery maid? Ah, close. She's a maid. This cannot be happening. Don't dilly-dally. The princess will soon be awake and expecting her new maid. I close my eyes and suppress the urge to groan. How is it that Delora was able to turn me into Emmeline's personal maid? She thought this would be funny, did she? Well, I will make her pay for this. I expect you not to be late again. We have very strict rules on how the palace staff should behave. I am not exactly sure how Delora managed this. She told me she was going to cast a spell on me and that it would be over as soon as I opened my eyes. I closed my eyes and sure enough, when I opened them, I found myself here in a maid uniform. What did she do? The maid continues to babble at me. How annoying. I pretend to listen to her as she leads me through the palace hallways. Emmeline and Rod's chambers are located here. Oh! We come to a halt when Emmeline suddenly appears from around the corner. Your Highness. The maid ducks into a neat curtsy. Emmeline's eyes meet mine. I tense as I wait for any signs of recognition from her, but she only gives me a curious look as if wondering who I am. She clearly does not recognize me. The maid suddenly reaches back and pulls at my shoulder, forcing me into a bow. You are in front of the Crown Princess of Angiel. Show some respect, girl. My apologies, Your Highness. She is new and clearly needs to be taught some manners. Excuse me? Oh, please, there's no need for that. What is she trying to achieve by pretending to be kind to a palace maid? Pretending to be kind to a palace maid. Blech. Also, bleh. She's being kind on purpose, not because it's a ploy or anything. She's not pretending. Who is she trying to fool? You're the one that fools people. You're stupid. Ugh. Your Highness, this is your new personal maid. Emmeline glances at the maid, looking confused. Why do I need a personal maid? It is by the king's orders, Princess. Emmeline turns to look at me again. What is your name? She is talking to you, girl. I scowl at the maid before facing Emmeline. I cannot believe I have fallen so low that I am now being ordered around by a maid. Lilac. It's nice to meet you, Lilac. I hope we can get along. When I do not respond, Emmeline's face falls. I was just heading to breakfast with my family. Of course. Lilac will escort you to the dining hall. I raise my eyebrows at the maid, irritated. There's no need for concern. I can get there on my own. I breathe a sigh of relief. I'm not here to babysit her. Yes, you are! The maid leans forward and whispers something in my ear. I don't know how it is that you landed this position, but you owe the royal family your diligence and respect. If you continue to show disrespect, I will be having a word with the king. The maid pushes me forward so that I am forced to stand next to Emmeline. She will escort you to the dining hall, Your Highness. Her job requires that she follow you everywhere in case you require assistance with anything. But it is almost time for breakfast, Princess Emmeline. Emmeline frowns and looks at me. I'm so sorry. What is she apologizing for? Good morning. Good morning. It seems that you have met your personal maid. The king's eyes widen as soon as he spots me. You look familiar. Does he recognize me? I feel a little tremble in my heart as I consider that hope. Are you not the girl who came to the gates before? I deflate with a soundless sigh. He remembers me as the peasant. This is the first time I am meeting you as Emmeline's personal maid. What is your name? Lilac. That is a lovely name. We are glad to have you here, Lilac. The king gives me a warm smile. The softness of his gaze makes me angry. He never treated me so kindly when he remembered me as his own daughter. Emmeline takes her seat while I walk to stand at the walls beside the other maids and butlers. The door opens and Rod walks inside. He greets the king, Ophelia, and then his sister. He is just about to take a seat when his eyes suddenly fall on me. The shock is apparent on his face. Rod, is something wrong? I see there is a new maid on the staff. His tone is almost accusatory. I bristle at his words, and I'm about to say something when Ophelia speaks. She is Emmeline's new personal maid, Lilac. Rod stares at me for a few moments, his expression unreadable. Eventually, he moves to take his seat. I stand silent and watch the royal family eat their breakfast. The small area is filled with happy conversation. The four of them smile at each other when they speak, and it is easy to see how comfortable they all are with one another. When I was still here, our meals were always so quiet, but everyone looks so happy now. I bite my lip to will the heavy feeling away. Rod told me that before, but I did not want to believe him. I turned back to the conversation at hand. We have something very important to discuss with you, Emmeline. Uh-oh? I brought this up before, but now the matter is more pressing. Is this about... Yes, this is about the ball. Ophelia gives the king a disapproving look. Dear. I know it seems a strange proposition, but this is a royal tradition. Emmeline is at a suitable marrying age, and this ball may yet help her find a suitor. But a husband. Emmeline's cheeks are tinted pink. Royal ball for Emmeline? For her to find a husband? I never would have agreed to such a thing. The king never forced me into one because he knew that. I will not force you to marry someone you do not love, Emmeline. We agreed on this ball to uphold a tradition. All eligible bachelors will be invited in 4 months' time, and you will choose the man you want to court you. I did find my true love through a ball, after all. He glances at Ophelia, who responds with a fond smile. Her expression falls back into something more worried when she looks at her daughter. But what if I can't choose anyone? We will throw one ball, as per tradition. We will not force you into another ball if you do not find a good suitor, but we must uphold traditions at least once. Perhaps this will push you to think more about the future. I will not put any added pressure on you, Emmeline, but I would be happy to see grandchildren before I have to give up my throne. I'm not getting any younger, you know. Ha! Father! I can tell that the king is trying to make light of this situation, but there is an undertone of seriousness. Emmeline eventually sighs, then slowly nods. I understand. My gaze shifts to Rod to search for a reaction, but his expression is impassive. No reaction at all. Did you know this was going to happen? But can I really be the princess of the kingdom of Angiel But can I really be the princess the kingdom of Angiel deserves? I feel so unprepared. You are the crown princess of Angiel. You must be confident. Emmeline looks down, looking genuinely distressed. I'm finished. May I be excused? But sweetheart, you barely touched your food. You may. Emmeline stands up and ducks into a quick curtsy before rushing from the room. I do not move until I feel Rod's glare on me. I realize that I am meant to follow Emmeline. Excuse me. I curtsy and follow after Emmeline. I barely make it a few steps away from the dining hall before the door flies open and Rod is rushing after me. What are you doing here? I think I'm supposed to avoid the question. Rod begins to advance toward me, but he stops in his tracks when I speak. You do not have time to argue with me, Rod. If you are here to break your curse, then you are not getting any help from me. You are not the only person I can ask for help. I turn away from him to follow after Emmeline, but Rod grabs my arm. I stop and turn to glare at him. What now? Where are you going? I wrench out of Rod's grip. Where do you think? I turn and walk away. Rod does not attempt to stop me. The last place I expect to find Emmeline is in the throne room. Much to my surprise, I find her standing alone inside, staring up at the throne. Oh! When she turns to face me, she has a guilty expression on her face. I'm sorry. What is she apologizing for? I was very rude earlier, walking out on everyone at breakfast. Emmeline gazes back at the throne and sighs. I'm sure any other girl would be happy to have a ball. I mean, it's like something out of a fairy tale. But She sighs once again and looks down at her clasped hands. It all sounds so perfect in the fairy tales. 3 days is all it takes before everyone's found their true love. But I don't think that's how it works out in real life, do you? I have nothing to say in response when Emmeline turns her beseeching gaze to me. I don't know how I'm supposed to marry someone I barely even know. Is this really what it means to be the crown princess? Isn't this precisely what you wanted? Excuse me? When your mother married the king, you became a princess. You went from rags to riches overnight. I cannot keep the bitterness from my voice when I speak. Your life is playing out like Cinderella's, is it not? All you are missing are the glass slippers, and even then I am sure the king could arrange for a pair. I cannot understand why you're so unhappy. Neither can I. Oh, you're gonna make her cry! Emmeline turns away from me to face the throne once more, and in the sun that streams through the windows, I see something shining on her cheeks. Is she crying? I am so ungrateful. Lilac, what would you do? What? If you were in my place, if you became the crown princess overnight, would you go through with the ball? For the sake of Angiel's tradition? For the sake of your role? I would never do anything so worthless. The king never brought up the subject with me. He most likely knew I would have refused. Emmeline suddenly pats her cheeks and turns to me, a wry smile on her face. I could do with some fresh air. Shall we go to my friend's shop in town? We have only just exited the throne room when Emmeline stops short and I almost bump into her back. Oh! Your Highness, what a pleasant... Sir Mithros abruptly stops to stare at me. Why is Sir Mithros looking at me so intently? Because he's a witch! Is something the matter, Sir Mithros? No, nothing at all, Your Highness. I am just... amused. Amused? Oh, you haven't met my new maid. This is Lilac. Lilac? There is something in Sir Mithros's gaze that I do not trust. The silence is stifling, so I curtsy at him. Sir. Charming. Sir Mithros turns his attention back to Emmeline. Where are you off to on this pleasant day? Oh, just off to visit a friend. Make sure you bring your guards with you, Princess. Of course. I wonder what's taking him so long. Emmeline decided to invite Rod to join us on her visit. One of the guards offered to get Rod for her, but he still has yet to return. Another stands with us by the gates, ready to escort us into town. Why does the king even keep these incompetent fools if they cannot find a single person? Maybe we should go look for Rod. But then, what if he gets here as soon as we go searching for him? I sigh. I will go look for him, you can stay here. But you don't need to run errands for me. She has yet to ask me to do anything. What does she think a maid even does? I look at her solemnly, not answering her. Finally, she relents. Thank you, Lilac. I incline my head just slightly before walking off. I feel like a babysitter. I cannot believe I have to search for Rod. This is only slightly better than being dragged around by that broom. I turn around the corner and nearly bump into someone. I take a few steps back just in time. Princess? I look up in shock. Fritz's surprise mirrors my own. Where have you been? I've been looking for you everywhere. He pauses to stare at my clothing. Why are you wearing a maid's uniform? Fritz, you remember who I am? I would never forget you, Princess Lilac. But it does seem like I am the only one who remembers you. What is going on, Princess? The only people who remember me are the witches, fairies, and... Fritz, are you? I stop when I hear the sound of approaching footsteps. Fritz turns at the sound and then stoops low into a formal bow when he sees Rod. Your Highness. Rod's impassive face twists with annoyance when he sees me. Rod does not even acknowledge Fritz as he walks past him to stop in front of me. Shouldn't you be attending to my sister? I don't understand. Prince Rod, do you know why the princess is dressed like this? Rod is clearly just as surprised as I am that Fritz remembers me. You recognize her? You remember the princess too? But if you knew, why didn't you say anything when she first went missing? And can someone explain to me why she's attending to Princess Emmeline? This is... Fritz. I cut him off before he can ask any more questions. I feel Rod's gaze on my back as I turn to look at Fritz. No more questions. But Princess, right now I'm a palace maid. A what? It is a long story and I have no time to explain now, so do not ask. Fritz is clearly discontent. He seems to struggle for a few moments before he finally sighs and nods. Yes, Your Highness. Though it is nice to hear someone here speak my title, it will not do if Fritz calls me that on accident. It is just Lilac for now. But I turn to face Rod. Emmeline is waiting. What? The guard could not even deliver her message? Where are you going? Emmeline wants to visit her friend's shop in town, and she wants you to go with us, Rod. Town? Ordinarily, I would not mind Fritz joining us. But right now, he might just be unnecessary company. He may very well give me away. Rod barely wants to speak with me when it is just the two of us. I doubt Fritz would make me more sociable. I am assuming that accompanying you is not an option at this point? Yes. Fritz looks down for a moment before looking at Rod. I am sorry to ask this of you, Your Highness, but since she refuses to let me do so, please look after Princess Lilac in my place. Ridiculous. I do not need to be coddled. Even if I did, Rod couldn't care less if I am hurt. I will do my best, Sir Fitzgerald. I cannot tell if he is being genuine or not. He is a good person. Unlike you, so he's being genuine. Fritz bows to the both of us. Stay safe, Lilac. And you, Your Highness. Rod turns and begins to walk away without another word. Come on, Rod. Come on, says Rod. Ugh. Rod is silent as we make our way back to the palace gates. I am still thinking about what he said to Fritz earlier. Why would Rod agree to Fritz's request? Because he just wanted him to leave? I stare at Rod's back as he walks in front of me. Sometimes I cannot figure out what he is thinking. Rod, Lilac! Emmeline beams when she catches sight of us. Are you ready? Rod crosses his arms. He does not look very happy with his sister. Even though Rod is younger, I cannot help but think that he often sounds like the older of the two. I am busy, Emmeline. I can't keep dropping everything whenever you want to leave the palace. I'm sorry, but I just really needed some fresh air today. You can get plenty of fresh air on the palace grounds. I felt I needed to be off the palace grounds. Emmeline's face drops as she looks down at the ground. Rod lets out an exasperated sigh before stepping inside the carriage. Come on. Rod? Just for an hour, okay? Thank you. I soon come to realize that it is easier to walk around town now that everyone has forgotten who I am. The atmosphere around town feels brighter. All the spiteful stares are gone. Princess Emmeline. Oh, how are you doing? Is your wife feeling better? Emmeline has responded to most of the people who know her. She seems to know a good majority of the people in town. I hang back as Emmeline speaks with a man. The night escort hovers somewhere nearby, watching for disturbances. We're going to take longer than an hour if she continues like this. I'm not going to rush her. Don't you need to return to the palace to continue whatever work it was that you were doing? Rod raises an eyebrow at me. I do have to get back to my studies, but my family will always come first. If this makes Emmeline happy, then I will gladly come with her to town. It's a small thing. Happy? I look more closely at Emmeline. She is smiling, but then she always smiles. I do not understand. She's more at ease talking to the townspeople sometimes because they don't judge her. Why would she have to worry about being judged? It is clear that everyone adores her. Emmeline takes the man's hand in hers, and she wishes him well. Rod points out the gesture. See that? That's goodness. You could learn something from my sister, Lilac. Is goodness pretending to be interested in the lives of strangers? It's not pretending! Emmeline eventually says her goodbyes before walking toward a familiar store. This is the toy shop I visited with Emmeline and Rod before. I glance at Rod and notice the expression on his face. He seems conflicted. But why? Before I can ask, Rod marches in front of me and decisively pushes open the door. When I enter, Emmeline is already hugging the shopgirl, Viorica. Emmeline, you look as beautiful as ever. Oh, please, I look the same. You, on the other hand. Emmeline steps back before nodding, a bright smile on her face. Being in love suits you. When is the wedding? Wedding? She's already engaged? I catch a small movement out of the corner of my eyes and turn to glance at Rod. I notice his fingers clench into a fist before he quickly hides his hand behind his back. Ah, okay. I see where things are going. Though his expression is as impassive as always, I notice a tenseness in his shoulders. Desmond and I haven't set a date yet, but it should be soon. Would you? Viorica trails off when she notices the rest of us. Hello, Rod. Yorka. His tone is surprisingly static. Last time he was here, I was sure he sounded friendlier. So what can I help you with, Emmeline? Looking for another doll? Another doll? But Emmeline is not interested in dolls. Oh no, I'm just here to see you. I can't stay for long since Rod has things to do. Emmeline, I'll wait for you outside. Oh, okay. I know it's my job to follow Emmeline around, but I am still not at all interested in hearing her talk to this girl. Does she even want me here? Stay with Emmeline. Before I can decide what I want to do, Emmeline has turned to look at me with a smile. This is Lilac. She just started working as my personal maid today. It's not like you to make a maid follow you around. Emmeline's expression quickly becomes apologetic. You know what? I'm just gonna play this as I would. I don't think I'm gonna. I'm just gonna keep getting the bad endings. It's just how I be, man. I'm sorry, Lilac. I realize I didn't even ask if you wanted to come with us. I just expected you to tag along. Why is she apologizing? I am meant to tend to her regardless of where she is, unless she dismisses me. I am sure Lilac doesn't mind. Mind? It's such a beautiful day today, after all. Emmeline turns to me and smiles. You don't have to wait for me if you don't want to, Lilac. I won't be long. I only wanted to see Viorica for a bit. I haven't been able to see her as often since I've moved. Well, that's to be expected. Princesses shouldn't be associated with shopgirls like me. Viorica has a point. Why does Emmeline insist on this? But you're my best friend. I'm still not accustomed to the fact that I can't just visit you every day. Those were the good old days when we were still just neighbors. I'd still live next to you if I could. Do you remember all those games of tag we used to play together when we were children? Remember how Rod always lost? The two girls laughed together at the shared memory. I try not to roll my eyes. So they were childhood friends. Are you sure there's nothing I can help you with? We all turn around at the sound of the door chimes as a customer walks in. Excuse me. One moment. Viorica turns to Emmeline with a guilty expression. I'm so sorry, but I have to take this. No, it's all right. I'll come see you another time. I promise. We can talk for as long as you want next time. Emmeline smiles and hugs her friend in farewell. I follow closely behind Emmeline as she exits the shop. Rod pushes away from the wall that he had been leaning against once he notices us leaving. Ready to go? Emmeline nods with a smile. The two of us begin to make our way to the palace again. There's a dog that wants out. Morgan! Go. Why? Such a dangerous dog. Alright. By the time we return to the palace, evening has fallen. I hope we're not late for dinner. The minute the carriage doors open, we are greeted by two familiar faces. Sir Alcaster and Sir Mithros stand before us. Princess Emmeline, Prince Rod, I was on my way to look for you when Sir Mithros informed me of your whereabouts. He glares at the knight escort, and the knight shrinks back. Sir Alcaster turns sharply to me afterwards, his eyes narrowed. Why is he looking at me like that? It was getting late, and the queen was worried. I'm so sorry. Princess Emmeline, Prince Rod, it is almost time for dinner. Please, let me escort you inside. I feel like he's a snake. Like he seems snakish. Sir Mithros gestures for them to follow him. I'm about to follow after them when Sir Alcaster suddenly moves to block my path. His eyes are cold. He opens his mouth to say something, but then closes it and shakes his head. You are dismissed, girl. You may go back to your quarters. But that is an order. His gaze is piercing. Even when I was the princess, I was not able to stand up to that gaze. Yes, sir. After dinner, I make my way back to the room assigned to me. As I walk down the hall, I notice Rod heading in my direction. Rod? He suddenly grabs my arm and pulls me away, down the hall. What? Where are you taking me? Rod does not answer, and just continues moving until we reach an unfamiliar door. What is going on? Rod cuts me off by placing a finger on my lips. He looks around warily before finally pulling me in through the door with him. What? This place. I've heard of this place before, but have never seen it. Is this the secret passage that leads into town? Rod doesn't answer me. He simply keeps walking, and I see no other option but to trail after him. How is it that you know this place? He still refuses to answer. Are you deaf? Suddenly, Rod suddenly stops and I bump into his back. I stumble back with a scowl. You asked too many questions, because you refuse to answer any of them. I glare back at him until Rod makes an exasperated sound. Lady Parfait is the one who told me about this passage. It makes sneaking out of the palace easier. Parfait? She did not give me any explanation as to how she knew of this place. There are only meant to be 2 copies of the keys. The king has one and Sir Alcaster has the other. Then why do you have a key? Don't tell me you stole it from the king. I am not a thief. Lady Parfait also has a copy. You said there were only 2. So... She saw fit to provide me with a key for my own use. What? How does Parfait have a key to this place? You'll have to ask her that yourself. Once we stepped into town, I realize where it is that we are headed. We are going back to the Marsh Hen. Delora is the first person we see as soon as we enter the Marsh Hen. Well, look at the cat dragged in. Delora, you... Rod's glare silences me. He steps forward and points back at me, gaze icy. She is not staying at the palace. What? Delora raises an eyebrow. Why is that? She works there now. I do not know what game you are playing, but I will not be part of it. Excuse me? This is not a game. I do not want you meddling in my life as you meddled with hers. The room's temperature drops several degrees. Dolores stares at Rod, her expression suddenly lacking any emotion. With all due respect, Your Highness, I do not want to meddle with your wallowing. But just because you do not wish to break your curse doesn't mean that others shouldn't want to either. You should be humbled that our princess here thought you would be able to help her. Rod raises an eyebrow. Where's Lady Parfait? Of course you want to talk to Parfait, because she puts things nicely. Fine, I'll fetch her for you. Delora curtsies as she sweeps out of the room. Rod sighs. He clearly looks irritated, but he doesn't put a voice to his agitation. Now that we're alone in the empty room, the silence is deafening. And so I ask him the question that has bothered me since we came here. Why do you want me out of the palace? Why do you not want to break your curse? I know why he doesn't want me in the palace, so let's go with the curse. I don't need to explain myself to you. Do you even know how to break your curse? I do. So why are you not doing anything? It's none of your business. I do not realize the anger inside of me at first, and then I notice that my hands are fists and that I am shaking. You are angry at me for treating your family with unkindness, and yet you do not treat me with any respect or kindness either. Excuse me? I realize that this is the angriest I have felt in a long time, and it makes words fall out of my mouth. You are guilty of the same disrespect you hold me accountable for. We are both being cruel to family, aren't we? Rod's eyes are ablaze as he stalks toward me. He stops right in front of me, his mouth pressed into a firm line. As you are so fond of telling Emmeline, we do not share any blood. The only thing pulling us together is the king, and you do not share his morals. Ah. Remember this, Lilac. You will never be part of my family. And I will never see you as a sister. Because you'll see her as a lover, which is weird. Rod storms out of the reception area just as Delora enters. Sorry, looks like Parfait wasn't in. She pauses, then gives me a wry smile. Seems this partnership is going well. I throw my hands up in anger. He's infuriating. Not as helpful as you thought? I was surprised you were asking for his help in the first place, right? All I have been doing today is following around Emmeline, and he still finds reasons to snap at me. In his eyes, I can do nothing right, even though I am making an honest effort to break my curse. Delora eyes me as she slides down into a chair. Has he told you anything about his curse? Only that he knows how to break it. Delora sighs. Boys can be so secretive about the silliest things. Rod has been aware of how to break his curse from the very beginning. Then why hasn't he broken it? I have no idea. I think the only other person who knows the full terms and conditions of Rod's curse is Parfait. Parfait? Parfait has known Rod for a while. She convinced him to keep coming to the Marchen even after he gave up on breaking his curse. Parfait also thinks that working with you will convince Rod to try finding another way to break his curse. Another way? Don't ask me. I don't know much about his curse either. But if you keep trying, you might convince Rod to talk. I doubt that very much. It seems that all I am doing is convincing Rod that I do not deserve to break my own curse. Delora looks at me curiously for a few moments, then she grins. I have an idea. If it is another terrible idea... No, this one's much better. I'll just stick around with you. Watch out for you. What? Delora, watch out for me. Wah. Oh, she's back to doll form. I am surprised when Delora suddenly stands before me in her doll form. There's no way you and Rod are going to sort yourselves out without some kind of help, so I'll be tagging along. It's much easier when I'm travel-sized. Why do I feel like she'll only make things worse? Come on, then. Dolores somehow manages to jump into the front pocket of my apron, which is thankfully large enough to fit her doll body. What? How big is she, then? I thought she was, like, the size of an antique doll, but now... Is she the size of a Barbie doll? A Bratz doll? What? I'm confused. Let's go find us a prince and get ourselves back to the palace. Chapter 4, One Step Forward. Okay. I am going to end it here, though. We are at like the 30-minute mark-ish, maybe a little longer, probably longer. But we're in the Rod route, and I am doing poorly. I'm pretty sure that already it is confirmed I'm going to get the bad ending, so I don't care about getting the crystals now. I'm just gonna see who dies. Rod's gonna die, that's for sure. Everybody seems to die, so Rod's gonna die, and other people might die, and we get to see that when I finish this route. Yay! Go ahead and leave a comment about how horrible I am doing at this. Or, say, hey, keep doing the bad routes and only do the bad routes. We don't need to see the good routes, because sometimes those routes aren't even good. But yeah, go ahead, leave a comment, ring the bell, like, subscribe, all that jazz, and I hope that you all are having a wonderful rest of your morning, afternoon, evening. Okay, bye!